Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Andrew MacKay joins us. He's the Executive Director of the Nevada Franchised Auto Dealers Association, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, offering the highest level of care in Nevada.
Big R is Northern Nevada's #1 Golden Fire wood pellet supplier. More heat, less ash, 100% natural, and no additives. And there's only one place that stocks this many wood pellets, and that's Big R in Sparks, Winnemucca, Fallon, Fernley, and Lovelock. A river of wood pellets at Big R.
It's the $200,000 Cars and Cash giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Cash and prize drawings Thursdays and Saturdays. Plus, win a 2023 Ford F-150 or we'll pay you cash instead. Don't miss your chance to play and win. Cars and Cash at the Carson Valley Inn.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Andy MacKay. He is Executive Director of the Nevada Franchised Auto Dealers Association. Pleasure to have you back, sir.
Good seeing you, Sam.
So let's start out with UAW and how this is affecting these strikes that are going on at various entities. How is this affecting now the supply chain, which was already just starting to get back to normal?
Minimal at the moment. We've seen some disruption, particularly on the parts end. When you look, all politics is local. We have a parts distribution center, I think that you and your viewers are aware of in Reno. Fortunately, a lot of our dealers, the big three dealers, knew that this was coming, and from a part standpoint, we're able to stock up. The only problem is it's kind of betting on the come line. You hope that you buy the right parts that are coming in. The UAW has been, as everybody has read, they're very tactical in this strike, that they will shut down a plant for several days, and then they'll reopen it and move to another plant. However, last week, stuff got a little more interesting when they shut down a major F-150 plant, and as everybody knows, that's the #1 selling vehicle in the United States. So if this continues, probably for another week, we're going to start to see supply chain crunches. Our inventory levels were starting to recover, and I have a feeling we're going to be back to square one if they don't get this resolved. And honestly, there's a lot of brinkmanship in this, but Ford has basically said our best and final offers on the table, take it or leave it. And they're both standing there. It's the classic Mexican standoff. Who's going to blink first?
We've seen a lot of changes in the casino industry because of COVID and a lot of changes in the staffing levels. We've seen a complete change in the way the auto business runs as well. Can you explain some of the things that have changed and aren't going back to the way they were?
Oh, geez. I mean,
it's huge.
You know, where to start? Well, when you look in terms of from a manufacturing standpoint, of course, you know, I don't represent manufacturers, but and you've seen that trend since heck when Henry Ford created the assembly line. less individuals are required to build these vehicles. And as we go, I know we're going to talk about electrification. When they build electric vehicles, granted, right now you have many plants that you're building ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, and electric vehicles, but it takes less personnel to build them. From the dealer standpoint, when you look at our employment numbers, they're actually higher, and which is good because we hire local and we pay some of the highest wages. Arguably, after mining, we pay the highest wages on average of any industry in the state. So I'm proud to say that. However, when you just look in terms of the buying process, the internet, you have an educated buyer, but more and more is moving online. And that's a good thing because it makes the buying process better. And the reality is when you look in terms of these inventory constraints that we dealt with for years due to the supply chain interruptions caused by COVID, these huge dealerships where we had to stock 300, 400, 500 vehicles, those days are gone. And so I think when you see going forward, and this is going to be a long time because these things cost a fortune to build.
Right.
But when you see the car dealership of the future, it's going to certainly be smaller, just in terms of a footprint, because you're not going to have 300 or 400 vehicles on the lot at any given time.
And that saves a lot of money for the dealership because they were paying to keep those vehicles on the lot. There was an interesting period for a time there where some of the upscale dealerships were putting on like $10,000 onto the price of a car, and people were paying it just because that was the only way you could get the car, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it was the classic supply and demand, and when you saw those markets, those were generally driven not because the dealer knew that he or she could generate the price. You had brokers that were reaching out and trying to supplant individuals that had orders and were saying, we'll give you 15, 20, 30,000 over MSRP.
Wow.
It was just, I mean, the numbers were just crazy. What we were seeing during that, and not to get into the weeds, Sam, but an individual go and would buy a brand new Chevy Silverado and then would immediately list it either in the want ads, go to CarMax or something else, and would flip the vehicle and make $15,000, $20,000.
Right. So at this point, where's the used car market? Because that has kind of gone up and down.
You know what? It's really interesting. It seems like it changes day by day. Last week I was in Las Vegas. We had a monthly dealer meeting. I was talking to one of the dealers, and I asked how business was. He said the used. This is a dealer that also has stores in Southern California, and he's speaking of a Honda store that he has in Southern California. He said the new market, he says it's like a spigot, it just turned right off, but then the used is taken off. So it kind of ebbs and flows. Presently, the used market was really dropping for about a 2 to 3 month period. We saw price restrictions. It's now pretty robust. And again, if you're trading in a car, you're going to be shocked at what the market is generating. And the reason being is vehicles are just so darn expensive now.
Right.
And they just are.
And add into that the interest rates, and you've got another whole situation. Let's take a break. We'll come back and let's talk about EVs after this timeout.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you.
That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Andy MacKay. He is Executive Director of the Nevada Franchised Auto Dealers Association. So as you know, I purchased an electric vehicle, fully electric, and it's great. It's wonderful to drive. All the safety features on there are fabulous. But some interesting things have cropped up as you learn, as you start driving one of these vehicles. And one of them is, went up to North Lake Tahoe to spend a weekend. And the car was only down about 25% in terms of energy, but I thought, hey, not charged it anywhere else. I have a level 2 charger at my house. Wanted to see what a level 3 charger would do. So I went to the grocery store up at the lake that has the dual charges up there. And it took 45 minutes for it to charge 25% to get up to, in quotes, full.
On a level 3?
Yeah, to 100%, yes.
Okay.
And my thought was, okay, that was fine. I was there. I was the first one in line. My wife and I just sat in the car until it got there. But if there were 3 people in front of me, that would have been a really long stay. You know, I mean, that's one of the things that we have to think about in terms of, you know, charging stations, is that, you know, not only do there have to be dozens of them in any particular location, but there has to be a whole infrastructure around them that caters to people who may be the 3rd or 4th person in line, once we get to the point where the number of EVs being sold is high enough.
Well, and you nailed kind of, you know, the quandary in terms of how do you get mass consumer acceptance for electric vehicles. And it's specifically that. You know, you hear about range anxiety, and people focus on range anxiety in terms of, okay, the battery is going to get me from point A to point B. How many miles can I get on that? Now, as you've probably recognized, Sam, it's like anything, even with a gas-powered vehicle. How fast you're driving, if you're going up hills, down hills. Right. Temperature has a huge impact, particularly if it is cold. The advertised range on that vehicle is usually at a minimum, a best case, you're going to get 75% of that. So people focus on that. That's not really the big deal, because let's face it, anywhere in the United States of America, practically, you unroll your window and you can spit out it and you can hit a gas station.
Sure.
That's not the case with charging. And so not only do you need volume, you know, numbers, you need to have rapid chargers. I'm shocked that it took that long on a level 3 to be honest. I mean, that's generally about level 2 type charging. I have to ask, did you pay for it?
Yes.
What it cost?
It was a little over $3.
Oh, that's a smoking deal.
Yeah.
That's a smoking deal. But also when you look in terms of just charging, and I will say from Nevada that NV Energy is doing a really, really good job.
Yes.
With GreenLink, creating redundancy in the grid so that it's going to be able to handle this, you know, this additional capacity. But multifamily housing is a big impediment, because if you live in an apartment complex, a condo complex, you have no ability to charge. So you hope that you can charge at work, or you can find somewhere to charge. But the thing is, Sam, to your point, on your way home, you don't want to wait an hour and a half in line and then pull in and wait another 30, 35 minutes to be able to charge that vehicle.
No, I mean, it's crazy. And the other thing that was concerning to me was in going from Reno to Winnemucca, there was a charging station in Lovelock, and that was pretty much it. And then I'm hearing stories of these charging stations being, attacked by vandals. And so that's another issue there. What do you do if you go to the station that's in rural Nevada or rural anywhere and it's not working? I mean, you can't call up, AAA and say, hey, bring me, a pint of electricity. It doesn't quite work that way.
No, it doesn't. And former State Senator Chris Brooks, who really did some transformational legislation
Yes.
On this topic. It's actually happened to him twice. But one time he had a Chevy Bolt and was going to charge up in Hawthorne, where they have that's one of the depots for the Nevada Electric Highway. He pulled in, none of the chargers worked. So he was stranded in Hawthorne for 2 days while they waited to get somebody out to fix the charger.
Wow.
You'll have to get him on. He tells the story. He does a tremendous job telling it, and obviously I'm doing it secondhand. But certainly, I mean, that was several years ago. I think that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So it has improved, no doubt about it. But again, the only way that you can avoid those problems is you need more chargers.
Right.
You go into a gas station and pumps are out, so you go to the gas station next door and you fill up.
Okay, so when we talk about growth and we talk about roads, people always complain that you have the growth, but the roads aren't to capacity, and it takes time, sometimes years, to get that 2-lane road to a 4-lane road, and on and on and on. But it seems like we're in the same situation with EVs, and if the federal government really wants to promote this, and the industry obviously is tooling towards this 100%, we have to put this infrastructure in as soon as possible, ahead of the need.
I don't disagree with you at all, Sam. When you look in terms of some of the stuff that the administration has done, it's called the NEVI program, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, where states had to basically create. A plan is generous. An idea, maybe an idea is a better description, and then they submit that to the federal government. The federal government reviews it, and they have a pot of money that they will then bequeath to the states, give our money back to us, quite frankly, to help build and improve charging infrastructure. Does it help? Certainly. Is it enough? No way. But like anything that Congress and the federal government is good at is utterly screwing up things. And you look in terms of what they did with the Infrastructure Act, and when they resurrected the tax credits for electric vehicles. Instead of having $7,500 on the hood for any electric vehicle, what they did is eliminated 95% of the vehicles that qualified.
Right.
And it's just insane. So some manufacturers, Subaru has been really good at it through their Solterra EV, where they figured an end around it. And the hiccup is percentage of build that's domestic and final assembly.
Right.
To me, who cares? I understand that they're wanting to try to bring production back, but have that qualifier when it's here.
It's like they're going at too many cross purposes at once.
100%, and the whole boondoggle on it is, so you had people that literally one day thought that they'd have a tax credit available to them from the feds, and they're not, and it's not there. So because if you lease it, there's, I use the term, I hate the term loophole, but I'm going to use it. There's a loophole within the law that if it is leased, then it will qualify. So what happens is in this case, if it's a Subaru Solterra, you lease it from Subaru, and then Subaru, they actually get the tax credit, but they pass it on to the consumer, so it reduces the cost of the vehicle.
Well, that's very cool. Just briefly, let's talk about batteries, because one of the largest costs, because it is the whole bottom of the car, is the battery. On my particular vehicle, the warranty is for 8 years, but my understanding is if I were to purchase a new battery to replace that battery, it'd be around $40,000. That is not a surprise I want to deal with down the road, if you pardon the pun. Is there discussion in the industry about newer technology that's going to reduce the cost of those batteries to where it's not going to give somebody a heart attack if they buy a used vehicle and they've only got 2 years left on that warranty?
Well, the short answer is yes. And then when you look in terms of specifically Nevada, that we're uniquely situated, that we actually have lithium that we can pull from the ground.
Right.
And it's like anything. If you increase that supply, you're going to reduce the cost. Now, when you look in terms of battery technology, and I will say this, I don't believe electric is the future of our industry. I think it's hydrogen. That's my opinion for a couple of reasons. One is it's much faster to fuel, and additionally, once this technology is perfected, it's frankly it's cheaper.
But how far out is that?
Hey, Toyota is pretty close to figuring it out. They already have hydrogen models. They're beautiful cars. But again, then you're going to have to ultimately repurpose fueling stations to be able to do hydrogen. I mean, this is a ways out. But to your battery question, Toyota, when you look at them and they're a leader in this space. I mean, they just are. But they're trying to perfect solid state battery technologies, which number one, from an environmental standpoint, you aren't tearing up the ground to pull lithium out to the volume they are on lithium-ion batteries. They charge much quicker. You have better range. They're much more stable, so you don't have fires in the whole 9 yards. The problem is right now is its cost, but they're spending literally billions of dollars in R&D to figure out how do you do a mass-produced solid-state battery at comparative prices for a lithium-ion counterpart.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back with Andrew MacKay after this.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food.
It's a good time to eat.
Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. enough in fact to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Andy MacKay. He is Executive Director of the Nevada Franchised Auto Dealers Association. So I couldn't help thinking about this on the way over here, was you have dealers in Las Vegas especially that have very high-end automotives. You've got Formula One coming to town. How are they responding, and are they looking at this as a big sales event because all these very rich people are going to be coming to Las Vegas for Formula One? That are car people.
That's 100%. I would say the super highline brands. You know, if you sell Maybach, Rolls Royce, Maserati, Porsche. Let's just say I know some dealers that they're very well respected in their respective spaces, and they'll probably have a pretty good weekend as a result of it.
I am thinking so. Andy MacKay, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
It's the $200,000 Cars and Cash giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Cash and prize drawings Thursdays and Saturdays. Plus, win a 2023 Ford F-150 or we'll pay you cash instead. Don't miss your chance to play and win. Cars and Cash at the Carson Valley Inn.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcast. We'll see you on the next broadcast.